back to another one of my videos. If you're new here, my name is Lotta, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this delicious no-bake cherry cheesecake. So the first thing we need to make is our no-bake crust that's going to go at the very bottom of our cake. So for all of our no-bake crusts, you basically just need two ingredients. You need 200 grams of some sort of wafer or cookie. I'm going to be using these ones because they're my all-time favorite. And then you're going to need 125 grams of melted butter. Now in a previous video, I also used ladyfingers and that worked really well, but you could also always add some ground nuts, or you could use chocolate cookies or wafers just to give it a different flavor, but it's totally up to you. That being said, we have to demolish these cookies and get them into a nice fine crumbly texture. So you can use a food processor if you have one. I don't. So what I'm going to do is put it into my nice little plastic bag here and just go to town on it. Now in a big bowl, we're simply going to add both of our ingredients and give it a nice good mix until all of our cookie crumbs are covered in our melted butter before pressing it into our tin. Now we can set our crust aside while we make the actual cream cheese filling. Now for our cream cheese filling, you're going to need the juice of 1 lemon. Now this one's absolutely ginormous, so I'm just going to be using the juice of half of this lemon. Then you're also going to need 30 grams of sugar. Personally, I prefer using powdered sugar, but I don't have any today, so we're just working with what I have. You're going to need 8 grams of gelatin, or 1 package like this, 1 package of vanilla sugar, or just a good splash of vanilla extract, 200 grams of yogurt, any yogurt works, 300 grams of any type of cream cheese that you like, and last but not least, 300 milliliters of heavy whipping cream. Now, as always, we're going to start by letting our gelatin bloom with a splash of water and setting it aside. And in the meantime, we can whisk up our heavy cream and mix together everything else. Quick intermission, we have a fan outside that wants to come in and watch the show. Now while Amy the cat is snacking beside me, we can heat up our gelatin on medium-low heat just until it's melted. Now this does go really fast, it probably only takes like 30 seconds, and you want to make sure that your gelatin does not boil because that'll ruin the gelatin and it won't thicken up your creams or sauces. So now that our gelatin is completely melted, we have to temper it. So that basically means we're going to take a couple dollops of our cream cheese mixture here, add it into our hot gelatin and whisk it together. And we're going to repeat that a couple of times until the gelatin has cooled down quite a bit. Now, if we were to add all of this gelatin into our cream cheese mixture right now, it would immediately solidify and we'd have streaks of gelatin and the whole mixture wouldn't actually thicken up, which is not what we want. So we're going to temper it. Now at the very end there, I did fold in our whipping cream as well. And at this point, we can simply pour it onto our cookie crust and then smooth it out and put it into the fridge while we make our cherry topping. Now it doesn't have to be super perfectly smooth because we are going to be putting the cherries on top anyways, so this is good enough for me for now. Now I'm doing my cherry filling a little bit differently today. So technically all I would do is grab a glass of sour pitted cherries and then thicken up the juice with some cornstarch and add in some lemon juice and sugar, as you can see in this video. So you could either do it that way, or you could do it the way that I'm going to do it in this video, which is with fresh cherries. That being said, this is the first time I'm using fresh cherries, so just bear with me, we'll see how it goes in the end. So if you're using fresh cherries, you're going to want to have 500 grams of fresh cherries that you've picked, washed, and pitted, as well as 30 grams of cornstarch, 30 grams of sugar with a nice pinch of salt, the juice of 1 lemon. I used half of a lemon because my lemon was so big, and then 400 milliliters of water. Now the first thing I'm going to do is add some water to our cornstarch and mix it around until we have a nice paste, and then set it aside for now. Now we can add the rest of our ingredients into a pot and bring it up to a nice boil. And once it's boiled for a few minutes, we're going to scoop out our cherries and then set them aside. Now I'm simply going to pour our thickened cherry juice through a fine mesh sieve just to make sure that any lumps that are in there just quickly get out. Now at this point we can fold in our cherries until they're completely covered in our thickened juice. Now I'm going to let this slightly cool off while mixing it every now and then just to make sure that there's not a film that gets created on the top. And then once it's pretty much cooled down, we're just going to pour it on top of our cake and then put everything back into the fridge for at least another 4 hours to let the gelatin set. could either leave your cake just like that, or you could do some decorations on the side, which is what I'm going to do. So for that, you're going to need 100 grams of heavy cream that you're going to whip up to nice stiff peaks like this with 1 package of vanilla sugar. Alternatively, you could use a good splash of vanilla with 1 to 2 teaspoons of sugar. Then we're also going to need 70 grams of almond slivers, like these ones, and we're going to roast them in a pan. Now to roast our almonds, we're simply going to get a nice big pan, put it onto our oven top on medium-high heat, and throw in our almond slivers. Then we simply have to give it a toss every now and then until they're nice and golden brown. Now, if you find that your almonds are getting brown too fast, you could always reduce the heat a little bit just so that they don't burn. My almond slivers are nice and golden brown and they smell absolutely delicious. So I'm just going to transfer them onto a plate and let this cool off completely before I finish my cake. Now while the almond slivers are cooling off, we can already go ahead and spread a thin layer of our whipped cream all the way around the edge of our cake. Now the good thing is that our cake is still on the little baseboard here, which will make it just a lot easier to spread and get a nice smooth edge. Now I'm just using the base of my cake tin here as a guide to how much whipped cream to put on. Now with any whipped cream that you have left, you could use it to pipe on some rosettes or some other designs on the top of your cake if you like. But I think I kind of like the minimal, just cherries on the top. So I'm just going to use this some other way. Now just using the back of my card, I'm simply going to go up along the cake and stick them on. Now if you have any of your roasted almonds left, you could use them for just about any recipe that needs almonds. And the roastedness will just kind of give it a nice extra flavor. So that's everything for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, you could give it a thumbs up or write me a comment down below. And as always, the whole recipe is going to be in the description box as well.